Welcome to another edition of It's Sports Magazine TV. We have our guest, Tony Perez. Tony, first of all, I want to thank you for being our guest on It's Sports Magazine TV. Before we start, let me introduce our editorial staff. My name is Jeffrey Neil Fox, and I'm proud to be the publisher of It's Sports Magazine TV. Our panel includes our editor-in-chief, Leo Haggerty, and our assignment editor, Rob Creed, might not be able to make it. Adam Snopsheiler, who's a popular columnist and a rising media personality. Abby Hope and Andrew Trothy are both our columnists for It's Sports Magazine TV and are interns from the prestigious University of Tampa Sports Management Program. So now that I've introduced our panel, Tony, now that you know who we are, could you tell our viewers a little bit about what Tony Perez is doing today?
Sure. Well, what I do is I teach our combat injured veterans how to play golf, both men and women suffering from physical and mental disabilities from Iraq and Afghanistan. And it's a project that started back in January 2008, and something that I had to do, and that's what I'm doing every day.
Wow. You know, Tony, our editor, assignment editor, Robert Crete, was the one who wrote our article about Operation Game On. What a great project that is. Take us back when you started Operation Game On. What moved you to do this worthy undertaking?
Well, as you may not know, I'm the starter for the Farmers Insurance Open. I announced the pros on One South. And last year would have been my 31st year of doing that. I mean, I had guys like Trevino and Ziegler and those guys that I was announcing. So I've been around the block for a long time. And in 2008, I had an idea to have combat injured veterans for the Naval Medical Center in San Diego act as the starters on that Friday of the tournament. So I got approval from the PGA Tour, and of course we had 4 double amputees that volunteered to do that. So we were having coffee after we announced everybody, and one of the master sergeants, David Lynn, said, I'd really like to learn how to play golf." And the other guys, Randall Leoncio, naval guy, he said, "I would too." So all of them said, "We would like to learn how to play golf." And I said, "If that's what you want to do, then it's game on." And as you know, everything in the military is an operation. So I named it Operation Game On. I went to several golf manufacturers here in San Diego, and Callaway or TaylorMade stepped up without any hesitation with a $40,000 check to get this program going. It was in funds to be using as equipment. So it's 8 weeks of lessons, and then I take them up to TaylorMade at the Kingdom, and they get professionally fitted like a PGA Tour player would. And then with the monies I raised through various functions of fundraising events, I give them all the clubs, the shoes, apparel, bags, anything they need to go out and play golf.
Wow, that's unbelievable. Tell me, Tony, are you a veteran? And if so, thank you for your service. And where did you serve?
I served actually in Tucson, Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona, and then I served in Vietnam during the height of the Tet Offensive in 1968-69.
Wow.
So,
That's awesome.
And what we came home to. And I
Yes.
think that's why I started Operation Game On. I just didn't want our troops to be forgotten as we were. And it was more of a political war for us, but that's another story.
Mhm.
But for these kids that are coming back from Iraq and Afghanistan the way they have been, and I wanted to do something. I felt that I really needed to do something from the bottom of my heart, and it did. And now it's been, 13, 14 years now.
Wow, yeah, that's awesome. So you chose San Diego to be the home for Operation Game On. Is there any particular reason?
Well, yeah, when I got hired by IBM, and of course, IBM, largest computer company in the world, IBM stands for I've been moved. So I joined them in Phoenix, Arizona, and I worked up the ladder and got promoted to Los Angeles. And I did quite well there, and they wanted me to go either to Honolulu or San Diego. Turns out that San Diego, after a little research, had the best junior golf program for my 2 boys. So I chose San Diego, and that's where I raised my 2 boys. And they both became professional golfers, and so it was the best move. So I stayed there. IBM wanted me to move to Armonk, New York, and I said, God, I don't want to move to Armonk, New York when I'm living there in San Diego, the best place in the world to live. So we parted ways, and I went from a couple of jobs here and there. And then one day I just decided I want to teach golf. So I started teaching at Torrey Pines golf course. And that's where, I got my experience, and that's all I know is golf. So I figured, what better place to teach golf than San Diego, California?
Tony, with modern medicine and technology, a great many of the soldiers are surviving wounds that would have killed them in the past. That's the good news. The bad news is they're coming home with extensive physically and emotional wounds. Do you see more physical wounds or emotional wounds, or is it a combination of both?
Well, it's a combination of both. Ever since World War I, World War II, they didn't have medics out there in the field. And if they did, there were very few. And World War II, they had these little jeeps, trucks to go out and get the guys and bring them back. And by the time they got them back, they were already dead. Vietnam was a different story. We had choppers to go in and out, and their survival rate was a little bit higher because the MAX units were out there closer to the front line. Um, Iraq and Afghanistan, they had quite a few um, medics that were assigned to the Marine Corps. So those are the guys that run in when the bomb explodes, and they saved a lot of lives. But getting back to your question, a lot of physical injuries, a lot of mental injuries, because what they've seen, they lost their buddies, corpsmen, Navy corpsmen that were assigned to the Marine units. They would see, bodies shattered all over the place. And you don't forget stuff like that. You know, um, there isn't a day that goes by that we forget about those things. They're constantly in our mind. If you ask a veteran today, say, when was the last time you were over there? They would say last night. So yeah, it's pretty heavy. And PTSD is a little bit harder because at least the amputees, you know what you have to work with. Those suffering from PTSD, you never know what they're thinking. At Operation Game On, we lost two. And I thought one guy was just so gregarious, outgoing and everything. One day he just decided to call it quits. And that's the hidden injury that we have to deal with our combat injured veterans that are coming home.
Tony, you not only give golf lessons to the veterans, but their spouses as well. What made you choose to do that?
Well, that was almost like by chance. When there's a unit here in Camp Pendleton. It's called Dark Horse, 3 Marine Division, 5 Marine, and they call them Dark Horse. Well, they got assigned in November 2010 to Afghanistan, and that unit has taken more casualties than any other unit in the Marine Corps, and that's pretty heavy. And so when they were coming back, they were assigned, of course, to Camp Pendleton, but they assigned them to the Naval Medical Center, San Diego. And there, the families, only because the families were there. And so the wives became the nurses. They had to drop everything they were doing, and they had to take care of their husbands or their wives. And so when I started soliciting there at the Naval Medical Hospital, and eventually when they got their prosthetics, then they came over and they started learning how to play golf. So while we were teaching them how to play golf, the wives were over here sitting and really not talking to each other because they didn't know each other. Even though they saw themselves in the rehab unit at the C5 at the Naval Medical Center, San Diego, they would just say hi. But once I went over there and I asked her, I said, "Would you guys want to learn how to play golf? Along with your husbands?" And one gal says, "Well, it sounds like it could be fun." And of course, they started chit chatting about it amongst each other. So they all agreed. So that's when I started Wives of Warriors. And it was almost like I was hoping for it to grow, but the wars ended and there was very few guys coming back with amputations and things of that nature. So once they were physically fit to move on, they moved out of San Diego and they went back home. So it was Wives of Warriors. We had a great time with them. They chit chat amongst each other, and what was formed was a camaraderie and a lifetime friendship because now they communicate with each other. They met each other, and they went through quite a bit with their husband that nobody else, not even their parents, relatives, know what they went through to get their husbands back to a somewhat normal life.
Um, so in my experience, golf can be a very frustrating game. Why did you choose golf as an outlet for these veterans, and why do you see it as an effective outlet for them?
Well, golf has proven to be, it's not the most difficult. I mean, it is the most difficult game to learn how to play. So once we got the troops out there, golf takes you to another dimension, if you will. I don't know if you guys play golf, but it's just a different dimension than everyday life. But I felt that golf would take their minds off their injuries. And what happened is once they hit that one perfect shot, then they were hooked. So now they started getting competitive. And these guys have a will do, can do attitude. And if they find a challenge in that game of golf, we found that they started being more cooperative with the medics, with the hospital staff, with their psychologists. They were coming out of their rooms that were all boarded up, and they go to therapy and then come back and they sit in their room. Now we've got them out on the golf course in a beautiful setting, environments, lakes, birds. I mean, you name it. That they're out there in nature, and their mental attitude just was skyrocketed, and their health skyrocketed because of golf. And I mean, what better sport to play? They don't have to be big. They don't have to be fast. All they got to do is just like and be out there and enjoy nature.
I agree with that. We saw your segment on the US Open telecast. Did the network come to you to do that segment?
I was surprised. I received a phone call once in the morning, early in the morning. They said, Tony Perez would like to do a little segment on Operation Game On. We saw, I don't know where they got the information from, but they wanted to do a segment with one of our double amputees, Jake Kiesler, which was one of our original students that came through our program. And so it was Jimmy Roberts picked the name, and they picked our organization. So they wanted videos, they wanted pictures. So we were all scrambling. They wanted raw footage. So we were all scrambling trying to find it. And this video that you saw was from 2010 is when we recorded that. So yeah, they came to me. I was ecstatic to do a story like that, and then incorporate Operation Game On, which we're the little guys. We're not like the Wounded Warrior Project, with a multi-million-dollar. We're just a $150,000, $300,000 a year program, but we were static. I talked to my board members that just go ahead and do it, and we did, and it's been excellent exposure for us. And I just think it's going to be the beginning of getting us to the next level.
Well, we know we saw it, and Rob wrote the article, and now we got you on TV, so we're moving ahead. Tony, are there any members of the PGA Tour that are lending their name to this worthy project?
Well, I don't know if you know that, but my son is on the PGA Tour, Pat Perez, the infamous Pat Perez. So he's busy trying to make ends meet there, trying to get his card back for next year. I think he's 110 on the FedEx Cup, but when he's in town and he's available, he'll lend a hand. He'll come to our fundraising events. People just love him. They want to be around him. I mean, the guy's just so natural. I mean, he's not from a cookie cutter or anything like that. He just, he goes by his own drum beat, and I admire him for that. And he's just a great guy. I mean, I love the guy.
Tony, are you seeing more female veterans coming to Operation Game On?
Word of mouth has it that we are getting more lady veterans. We had 3 this last 8 weeks sessions. One was a Marine, one was Air Force personnel, and one sailor. So we had 3 gals. They met for the first time, and then they just blended right in with the rest of the guys. And I'm not a woman, you're a man. I mean, it was just a team effort from all of them. We have Army, we have Air Force, we have Marines, we have sailors. And once I hear that they're joshing the guys, I mean, now I know we're doing our job. They feel very comfortable, and they were all beginners, and you'd be surprised the swings that they have. I mean, it's incredible how fast they picked up the game. But now they're telling their friends, you know, you got to come out to Operation Game On. You'll get free lessons. It's a lot of fun. We don't go in there and try to tell them this is the way you need to do it. I mean, we just go at their pace. Whatever, some are going to learn faster than others, and that was the case with so one of our ladies, veterans. She was struggling, but then towards the end, boom, she took off and learned and picked up the game right away. So yeah, I'm hoping to solicit more for female veterans.
That's
So,
awesome.
Tony, if someone wants to donate to Operation Game On, where would they go to, and where would they find more information for that?
Well, they can go to our website at operationgameon.org. There's a donate button there, and ever since it's NBC airing, we've been getting a lot of hits. $40, $50, $100. We've gotten $3,000 yesterday from 3 various donations. So, yeah, anything helps for us. Like I said, they can go there. My contact information is there. They can call me, and I'll give them an address and write a check. But yeah, that's the way they do it.
Unbelievable. Tony Perez, it's been a pleasure having you on It Sports Magazine TV. Boy, I think you're judged by how you deal with adversity, and a lot of these veterans just don't even acknowledge. They just, how what they say, that if there's a will, there's a way they can do it. I know I was very impressed and moved by everything that you had to say. Best of luck of everything you do. And if there's anything that we can do here on our end to promote what you're doing, please let us know. We want to promote Operation Game On from our end anywhere we can. Thanks again. We really appreciate you, Tony Perez.
Well, I thank all of you and thank you so much for this opportunity. It's not about me. It's about our veterans they came home that defended our freedom.
Excellent. Another issue of It's Sports Mag TV.
I guess.